Hey there, all you Quahog aficionados. I'm Ryan Lewis.
And I'm Noah Bollow. And welcome back to another hilarious, heartfelt, and slightly off-the-wall season of Family Guy talk.
That's right, folks. We're diving headfirst into the gut-busting world of Family Guy once again.
So buckle up, because we're about to embark on a roller coaster ride of pop culture references, outrageous humor, and maybe even a thoughtful insight or two.
So whether you're a Quahog veteran or a giddy newbie, get ready to laugh, ponder, and reminisce as we kick off Season 2 of Family Guy Talk.
Lights flash, speakers pounding, Family Guy Talk vibes resounding. All I ever need is an entrance. Please carry me to the griffin. Family Guy, oh what a blast. Hilarious moments won't last. Hit a record to preserve it. Family Guy Talk below the surface.
Okay, I'll introduce. Okay.
We gotta go fast.
Yeah. Hey, welcome back to Family Guy Talk. Today we are coming back to you live with a special episode. Today we're going to be doing it twice as fast because we only have half the time to record. We got a special fast episode. First off, Ryan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. I slept in a little bit late today, and I got work later in the day today, and I had a big breakfast, a big lunch, got a lot of protein, got a lot of calories inside me, and I can't wait to burn them off later. I feel really pumped, really excited to review this episode of Family Guy. I think this episode was even a step above the season premiere last week, and I think this is a sign that season 2 is just going to keep getting better and better and better and better with each succeeding episode.
I absolutely agree with that point, Ryan. And really what was great about this episode was just the way that it played upon your expectations, and it really diverted you from a lot of the things that you thinking were going to happen. And really, my breakfast this morning was really good, too. I actually had a bagel. I had some strawberry cream cheese on it. I still am sipping down this coffee, and hopefully that coffee will enter my blood system and help me speed up this process. So, first off, world events. There's been a lot of the things that have been happening in the news that we need to cover. First off, Lizzo, bad.
Yeah, the queen died.
The queen died.
She was alive, now she's not. I think that's a good sign that we should get into the meat of this episode.
Yeah, we covered about it
So
all.
the episode is titled Holy Crap. When someone says holy crap, when they see something shocking.
It's kind of like how Peter says, holy crap.
Yeah, it's like his catchphrase, but also the holy ties into this aspect of this is a very religious episode.
Very religious, yeah.
It ties back into Peter's Catholic upbringing, his Irish Catholic upbringing.
Have we learned about that in the past, that Peter's Catholic, or is this a new bit of lore that's being introduced right now?
I think he mentioned it offhand before, but one thing I didn't know was that even though Peter is Irish Catholic, his wife, Lois Griffin, is actually Protestant.
Imagine.
That too, yeah. It doesn't really explain how the family chooses to raise the children, though. I'm assuming Catholic with the way Peter talks about it, but who knows? They could also have a Protestant upbringing as well. But the reason why this is so important is because Peter's dad, Francis, actually comes to visit the family this episode, and he is a very proud, very staunch, very strict Irish Catholic man.
Yes.
And so he's always been iffy on Lois's Protestant upbringing. He's always been very judgmental of her. And he's pretty much judgmental of everything that doesn't follow the very strict Irish Catholic lifestyle.
He's very traditional. He's very strict.
Even when it comes to Peter, he's always been trying to bond with his dad, always tried to be there for his dad. And Francis just can't give Peter the time of day at all. He's just too busy focused on his work and also his Christian lifestyle. And seeing that happen makes me think maybe the way Peter is the way he is because of the way Francis and his mother raised him. We see bits and pieces of his mother, and his mother appears to have a very big drinking problem and gambling addiction. I think both of these things tie into how Peter was raised and how it's affected him mentally, seeing the way he tries to raise Meg, Chris, and Stewie. We can see where that all comes from, I think.
Yeah, so you're saying that the influence of the parents actually is the reason for Peter's shortcomings that we've been dealing with throughout this season and 2 episodes.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
So anyway, the episode begins with Peter telling his family that his father, Francis, is going to be joining the family for a while because Francis's retirement party is coming up. Francis has worked for 60 years of his life, and now that is crazy. I can't even imagine working
almost
5.
That's almost 80 years.
I know, that's what Peter said in the episode too.
Way
to steal a joke. Anyway, so the family all goes to Francis's retirement party, and let me tell you something too. Francis, we got a very special guest star in this episode. Francis is voiced by famous character actor Charles Durning, who's in many classic films from the 70s and 80s. Like, he was in Dog Day Afternoon, he was in Tootsie, he was in the remake of To Be or Not to Be.
What's his name?
He was in the, what?
What's his name?
Charles Durning. He was in the Muppet movie. This guy's done it all. He's been in everything. And he might be the best guest star we've had on Family Guy so far. He really gives it all as Peter's dad. But anyway,
he brought his
Francis'
A-game
retirement
performance. Yeah. Essentially, they actually have Peter's dad get up on stage to give a speech to everybody, and you think that it's going to be this heartfelt, maybe Catholic influence, maybe thanking God, that kind of thing, but really what he does is actually the complete opposite, and he actually starts to roast everybody at the proceedings there.
And I was like, this isn't a roast.
Yeah, I was like, am I watching Comedy Central roast right now?
When's Don Rickles getting up there? That's what I was thinking.
Right, me too, but really, it was just him being a judgmental asshole this whole time. And that really came through. And Peter wants afterward. I mean, obviously, everybody.
Keep going. But so basically, afterwards, Peter decides to let Francis come live with family for a while. Now that he's
he doesn't let him. He actually demands it. He actually says, "Dad, I'm putting my foot down," and he actually slams on the brakes and kills Brian. But
yeah, it was probably the funniest moment in the episode.
It was hilarious. It had us keeled over in laughter.
Yeah, but Brian walked it off though. He walked it off. He was fine. Don't worry.
He's a good
no
dog.
animals were harmed in the making of this episode that we know of.
I didn't see it in the credits, so it might have happened still.
So Family Guy, Francis is moving in with the family now, and he hates the retirement life.
He hates the retirement life.
He absolutely hates it. The only thing he wants to do is work, and anytime he spends with Peter or the rest of his family, he just freaking hates.
Whoa.
And anytime he's at the house, he's always just criticizing everybody.
Yep.
Chris is just trying to use the bathroom, and he's up in Chris's face saying, God knows what you're doing in there, and you're going to go to hell if you keep doing it. And Chris is like,
telling me pooping's a crime? Pooping's a crime now?
Apparently it is. And Lois is receiving the worst of it because Francis is always just laying into her.
Mm-hmm.
And so she comes up with an idea. Maybe, Peter, you can get Francis a job at the toy factory. Maybe you can talk to good old Mr. Weed there, Peter's boss, and be like, hey, Mr. Weed, Peter's boss, why don't you give my dad a job? So you know what? That's what Peter does. Peter goes
It's good in
to
theory.
the toy
It's good in
factory.
theory, right? But essentially, we
good,
learned that it doesn't really work out, right? We learned that because as soon as it doesn't, as soon as Peter brings his dad into the toy factory, he shows him around. His dad actually takes the job from Peter, from Mr. Weed, and essentially he turns the whole place into a working camp where everybody has like no rights as a worker.
Yeah, he basically runs them all through the ringer.
Literally through the ringer.
This guy's been working triple shifts every day for the past 10 years. And he doesn't got time to spend. He don't got any time to spend with his wife or kids or any other relatives or friends.
At a toy factory.
His life is just work.
At a toy factory.
We're not talking all dying there.
We're not talking about the president of the United States putting it.
No,
we're talking about a toy factory.
Yeah, Peter opens the door to his house and just collapses on the ground. And while he does that, Francis is still at the toy factory, still working 24/7. It's insane. I think this storyline is a great comment on the current working conditions many Americans face.
People
on
are
a daily
overworked,
basis doing their 9-to-5
underpaid.
jobs. Yeah, the toy factory is pretty much just Amazon. They never really say Amazon, but that's what we're all thinking is that it's Amazon.
Yeah.
And I also think it's a kind of comment on the way studios are treating workers during these strikes right now and stuff too. So it's such a good thing that VFX workers are now uniting and forming their own unions because of all the pressures that the major 5 studios place on all those VFX workers. And same thing too with all the actors and writers striking too. And not even just them, like all these workers across America, like the rail workers and construction workers and stuff. Everyone is just doing too much work for too little pay. And I think it's about time to change. And Family Guy, I think, is going to lead the charge.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think that Family Guy is a staple in American society, and I think it knows that. And I think it knows the right moves to play in order to capitalize off of that, pun intended. So really, now that the Gramp's gone, he's gone whipping everybody into shape, and he's overworking everybody like a dog.
He's working everyone to the bone.
To the bone, straight to the bone. And Peter is trying to find a way to connect with his dad, and he's struggling to. And he actually sees on the television, on the TV screen, on the TV, on the news on the TV, the Pope is coming into town, which puts a little bit of an idea in Peter's head that, wait, maybe I could get the Pope, aka the leader of the Catholic Church, aka the leader of the religion which Peter's dad is ascribed to, and maybe he could bring him to Peter's dad and bond with them that way, show him that he is worthy of his love and that kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe he can do that. Maybe he could do that.
Yeah, they try to bond. They go to a baseball game, and Peter's dad gets up to go get a hot dog or something, and then he just disappears. And
he just leaves.
He just leaves.
He just don't care. He just don't care. If I went to a baseball game with my dad, I'd sit there for the entire 15.
They got four quarters.
Yeah, 15 quarters. Which that doesn't seem like a lot of money, but to them in baseball it is. And Peter had this big sign put up on the Jumbotron saying that he loves his dad, but Francis wasn't there to see it. He didn't even see it. Peter wasted all that money, probably thousands of dollars, like so many quarters in baseball terms. And it's Peter just wants love. Peter just wants his father's love, and he can't get it. And really, I think that's sad. Everyone should get their father's love and affection. It's your God-given right, and Francis should know that as a Catholic. It's their God-given right. They always say kids got to respect their parents, but their parents got to respect their kids too. You know what I mean?
So true. It is so true. So this whole time we're thinking that, I don't know, Peter's dad just ditched him. Maybe he went to church or something. But really what's happening is that Peter's dad went to jail. He went to prison.
That's right.
I mean, talk about playing off of expectations and completely subverting it. Talk about it.
Yeah, it really subverted my expectations. Then after that, after Peter gets his dad out,
we're getting this so mixed up. Oh my God.
I don't care. So Peter needs a way to connect with his dad. He's got to figure it out. He's really got to figure it out. And so he decides that whenever the Pope comes to visit town, you know what he does? Let me tell you what he does. He decides he's going to kidnap the Pope. He's going to kidnap the Pope and take him to Francis so they can all reconnect. So
wait,
Peter
I just realized Pope Francis, Daddy Francis?
No, this wasn't Pope Francis in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but you don't think that has some kind of connection? Like they maybe they had this huge Catholic dad and they named it after the actual Catholic dad.
Okay. So then I have Pope Francis in the episode, but they reference Pope Francis by having the character Francis named Francis and then the Pope named Pope. Okay, so that kind of makes sense. So Peter poses as the driver of the Pope-mobile, and while he's in the Pope-mobile, he steals the Pope-mobile and drives the Pope to his house. And Peter's worried that the Pope is going to get mad at him, but the Pope is actually very understanding. You know, he sees that God is guiding him to Peter to help him and his dad reconnect, and that this is where he's supposed to be right now, helping people. Peter brings the Pope to the house to help mediate between Peter and his dad, and Francis isn't at the house, so he meets him at the toy factory. And while they're all doing that, the Pope kind of bonds with Peter and his family a bit, being really nice, like the Pope should be and stuff.
Yeah.
And so he takes the Pope to the toy factory, and Francis is just brutally laying into everybody, being a big old mean jerk.
Oh.
But whenever Francis sees the Pope, he's just immediately, you know, in full Catholic mode,
starstruck, really,
praying to God. Yeah, he's just absolutely blessed by his presence. And Francis immediately seeks the Pope's wisdom. But the Pope is like, Francis, what you got to do is you got to be nice to Peter. You got to be nice to your family. They love you. They deserve your love, just as you deserve to be loved. And Francis, when he hears this, he decides to start laying into the Pope. He thinks the Pope is becoming too lax in his teachings. The Pope needs to be a stricter Catholic. And the Pope, that kind of makes the Pope a little bit angry there. The Pope's, hey, man, I'm not the kind of guy that normally gets angry here, but that kind of ticks me off a little bit.
The Pope kind of loses his shit. Yeah, it was another way to play on expectations because you think the Pope was going to be very Zen, very Buddhism. But really what he is, he blows up back at Francis, and it's really like this moment of absolute, like, really like dogma and unethical, and it's very intense, and they kind of duke it out right there in the toy factory floor.
It is pretty crazy. But then Peter actually stepped between them and defended Francis to the Pope. He was like, hey, wait a minute. Sure, my dad's tough and all, but he's still my dad, and I love him. And the Pope is like, man, Peter, you're just blessed with all this wisdom and forgiveness in you for putting up with your father like that. You should be like a saint or something, like Saint Peter, if you will.
Oh, and, you're talking about the leader of the Catholic Church, the first Pope.
Whoa,
is that why Peter's named that?
It's like reference after reference. There's really so many layers, especially in this episode of Family Guy.
That's crazy.
It's crazy how one guy just writes all this.
Seth, you are a man. Okay.
Really though, like, he is a man.
He really is. Wow.
Yeah. So why don't you say what happens next after that?
Oh,
Peter stands up for Francis.
Yeah. So essentially, Peter's beginning to like say, "Oh my God, Dad, I just have wanted your love all this time." And finally, we see some sort of humanity coming from Francis, and he's like, "Peter, I actually have loved you this whole time. I love you with all my heart." And
really,
you're thinking,
really though.
And the music's swelling in, and you see this beautiful moment.
Oh, it's swelling.
But then, but then it all flips. Another switch of expectations, and Francis just says, "I love you, but I don't like you." And then he begins to list off all the things that he dislikes about Peter, which is essentially everything that Peter is. He dislikes about him.
But Peter doesn't care, though.
He doesn't care. He realizes that his dad said that he loves him, and he's taking what he can get at this point. which is just that bit of love. And that resolves everything, and Peter convinces the Pope to give Francis a job on the Pope's team, which I thought was interesting. I was like, how is this dynamic going to work in the Pope's things that he does? But really, go ahead. Go.
And
really,
they gel together pretty well and stuff, with Francis being the Pope's security guard. Like, it shows the Pope on TV walking toward the church, and anytime someone gets too close to the Pope, Francis just socks him right in the jaw and stuff and says, "Get away! Yeah. You guys are awful. Give the Pope some space."
Yeah,
and it seems like things all worked out.
I would have to agree. Absolutely.
But then what happened? What happened after that?
That's the end of my notes.
Well, after that, it seems like that's the end of all of our current drama. But then there's a knock at the door.
Oh,
and it's
man.
It's Peter's mom. Peter's mom shows up, and the whole family's, "Oh, brother, here we go again." And Peter's, "I can't deal with this right now again." So he forces the family into the family escape pod, and they blast off into parts of...
What happens is the walls, they open up to reveal a spaceship type thing on the side of their house. I don't know if they're introducing this whole new sci-fi layer to the show, but that's
they don't really explain it. They don't really explain it.
Which, it just opens up so many questions. What's going to happen in the next episode? Where is this going to lead? How much of this sci-fi route are they going to continue to build upon? Because we have seen some sci-fi elements in the first season with Stewie's wild and wacky inventions, but we really haven't seen that throughout the whole show. It permeated throughout the whole thing. It's really only been an aspect of Stewie's character, when hopefully we could see more of it affecting the world at large, as opposed to just the talking baby character, the baby that talks.
Yeah, exactly.
So really looking forward to that. Overall, this episode, holy crap, I would give it probably like a 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was really interesting to see Peter's upbringing, in a sense where we got to see how he interacts with his dad, and really the implications of what Peter's dad's words actually may have affected in which ways for Peter.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. Personally, I think this episode was a grade out of perfect. Couldn't have
I
been
like
better
that.
than anything I ever imagined. Really, again, just the previous episode and this episode really just sets the bar up for the rest of the season. We still got like 19 episodes left. I can't even imagine what kind of crazy, wild, and wacky adventures and shenanigans they're going to be getting up to in this season, and I think holy crap is a good sign of it. My reaction after seeing this episode was, holy crap.
Really?
But like in a good way. Like in a good way.
Holy crap, because it's holy.
Yeah, it was very divine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it for Family Guy Talk. This has been the Fast episode. Any closing comments?
No closing comments other than the usual. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, YouTube. Yep. I got to do better at advertising the YouTube page. I don't know if it's linked yet, but we're working on it. There's up and running, so just search up Family Guy Talk, whatever. But guys, just follow us on all platforms. If you like the podcast, leave a really quick like and review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. It really helps us out. We have 2 negative reviews now. Did you see that, Ryan? Did you see our negative review, the second one?
No, what's that?
Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna pull it up.
Go on, pull up. Hurry up.
Okay. I'm scrolling. I'm looking for it.
Okay. All right, he's looking for it. He's almost got it.
Yeah,
he's about to find it.
Almost got it. I think. Where is it?
It's there. Guys,
okay.
It's right there.
All right. So this is from War Eagle Beagle.
Okay.
And the headline is terrible. 1 star. Family Guy is a silly show and doesn't need a profound treatment, but deserves better than whatever attempt at humor this is. If you're looking for a Family Guy recap kind of show, keep looking. Huh? I'm sorry? What?
I don't think there are any other Family Guy reactions. We own this. This is our thing. Like, if he tried to make his own Family Guy show, like, he couldn't.
This is Family Guy Talk, patent pending, okay? You try to look up other Family Guy recap podcasts. If any of them pop up, we're sending cease and desist letters. Good luck trying to find it.
We're with Seth now. Like, we're dead by Seth.
Literally, Seth endorsed the show. Literally, we are the only ones that really are qualified to actually talk about the massive depth that this show has. Other podcasts have tried, but they can't even scratch the surface because their brains don't think well enough.
Yeah, we're the second highest rated podcast on all the podcast sites. Number 2 in comedy, right behind Only Murders in the Building, and then number 2 right behind Only Murders in the Building in the murder mystery category as well. Oh, there's a pretty big death coming up, you guys. You're not gonna see it coming. I was shocked.
I didn't even realize was a podcast. It was just a show.
I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, this has been
Ghost, what a
Just great
great
episode.
What a great.
Please buy the merch.
Buy the merch.
We need to make Family Guy Talk merch.
Yeah, we do. Send in your designs. We'll pick the best one.
Yeah, send us your money too, and if we get enough money, we'll have enough to make the product, and then you can pay for it.
Yeah. I think this episode has been too long for the Speedy episode.
Oh my gosh, it's been on and on.
Like,
and
will
I'm
this
like,
guy stop talking?
give me a break. Give me a break.
Give this guy a break.
I got to slow down now. My heart's beating a mile a minute. I'm Ryan Lewis.
And I'm Noah Bollow. And this was Family Guy Talk.
Oh. Next episode's gonna be really slow.
We're gonna do double time.
Yeah, it's gonna be like at least 30 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Alright, we'll see you next time, y'all, guys, and stuff.
Alright, I'm stopping.
We're talking Family Guy Talk. Talking Family Guy Talk.